Hey, boys and girls, it's story time. What's going on, guys? So I wanted to tell you about a little recent funny story that happened on a flight that I took. I was coming back from vacation with a buddy of mine, and while we were in the terminal waiting to board the plane, we're kind of sitting around listening to our headphones and jamming to music, and my buddy kind of nudges me and points to these two really hot girls that are in the terminal with us. And I acknowledged it, of course. I was like, yeah, dude, they're hot as hell. But whatever, we're all waiting for flights, so we kind of just go back to listen to our music and go about our day. So the time comes to actually board the plane now, and my section that I'm sitting in is one of the first ones to board. And I'm like right there next to the counter, so I'm able to, like, one of the first people to actually get on the plane, which was fantastic. I go and I find my seat, I put my bag in the overhead compartment, and I sit down, and I have the aisle seat. And I sit down, and I still have my headphones on, and I was wearing a hoodie, and so I just kind of, tilted my head down, listened to my music, and kind of started to zone out a little bit. And so I'm seated in the back of the plane. My buddy, his seat is in the front of the plane, and it's a sold-out flight, so we didn't feel like trying to, bother asking if somebody wanted to switch or you want to sit next to me type of thing. We were just like, fuck it, I'll see you in Miami. I get a little tap on my shoulder a few minutes after being on the plane and already kind of starting to zone out a little bit. And I look up, and it's the two really hot chicks standing there. And the hotter of the two, she's the one that tapped me on the shoulder. And she tells me, she's like, oh, those are our seats. Do you mind moving just a little bit? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. So I get up, and I let them get into their two seats. The hotter one of the two is sitting in the middle, and the other one, who is still very hot. Don't think it's not like, she's a slag or anything. No, they're both freaking hot. Just the hotter of the two is sitting right next to me. I don't know why I feel the need to explain that portion. It has really nothing to do with the story, but, it happened, so why leave it out? So they sit down in their seats, and, we're still kind of like buckling in. The flight's about to take off. Again, I have my headphones on. I'm not paying any mind to it, and I kind of doze off when I fall asleep. So a little while later into the flight, I get a nudge in my side, like a pretty strong nudge, as a matter of fact. And I kind of startled wake up, and I look over to my side, and it's the really hot chick. And she says, oh, join us for a drink. And I was like, huh? And she points at the aisle, and the stewardess is there with the little trolley with all the refreshments and all that good stuff. And she goes, join us for a drink. I was like, oh, okay. Mind you, this was like a really early flight. This was like an 8 a.m. flight. We're maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes into it. So this is like 8:30 in the morning. Let's round it up, and we'll say 9. It's 9 in the morning. And this chick is telling me, oh, join me for a drink. So I'm like, all right, sure, no problem. They order like some vodka or something. I order a scotch at 9 a.m. And we sit there and we have that first drink, and then we just start kind of chit-chatting about, what they're doing. They're going back to Miami for vacation. And, I tell them I live here, so, and they were like, oh, cool, we don't really know anybody in Miami. Maybe you could show us around and take us out to a couple places. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, absolutely. In the meantime, my buddy realizes that I have these two hot chicks next to me, and I'm chatting it up and having drinks with them. And he looks back at me, and he just gives me this death stare, like, I hate you, you bastard witness. You get all the luck. It's not true. I don't get all the luck. Well, maybe I do. I don't know. So we proceed to finish that drink, and the stewardess comes back around again and says, would you like something else? And I'm like, well, yeah, actually, you want to do another round, ladies? And of course they were like, yeah, of course we want to do another round. So I bought another round. I bought them their vodka stuff again. And this time I doubled up on the scotch. I got 2 of them because I finished the first one pretty quick, so why make her come back around again? We finished that. We go through those drinks, and we kind of knocked them back, and we're still having a good time, laughing, chatting it up. And then we go through like another round of drinks, and so I'm like maybe 4 or 5 drinks deep at this point. The stewardess gets on the intercom system and says, ladies and gentlemen, we're making our final descent into Miami. The captain's going to be putting on the fasten seatbelt sign in a few minutes, so if you have to use the restroom, please do so now. I thought to myself, well, I don't really have to pee. I mean, I'm good. I feel fine. And we're only 20 minutes out, so even if I decide, you know what, I kind of got to pee, the urge is not going to be that strong within the next 20 minutes. I would already have to be, like, kind of have to pee right now, and then it would get worse by the time the 20 minutes came around. But I felt fine. I felt like nothing. So the girls and I completely ignore that message, and we proceed to just continue chatting it up and laughing and having a good time. Now the captain puts on the final, fasten seatbelt sign, and the plane starts to make its final descent into Miami. As the plane gets closer and closer to actually landing, the feeling of having to pee gets worse and worse. Because I guess what we didn't take into account was science or physics. So I guess at 30,000 feet, your bladder expands, being able to fill it with much more liquid than you would normally be able to fill it with without having to feel the urge to pee. But as we started to make our descent, I guess our bladders started to return to their normal shape, in which the amount of fluid that was currently in our bladders finally started to take its toll on our bodies. So the 3 of us are sitting there, and we're in freaking agony. I mean, we're crossing our legs. We're cracking up about it, which is making it 10 times worse because all the laughter is just making us have to pee more and more. But we're just dying, and eventually it gets to a point where we're still making the descent. The plane's coming down, and I told the girls, I was like, I can't take it anymore. I gotta go. I don't care about this fasten seatbelt sign. And they were like, you're gonna get sent back. You're gonna get in trouble. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I gotta pee. So I unlatch my seatbelt, and I get up and I start to walk like maybe 2 steps back towards the back of the plane where the bathroom is, and immediately I get squashed back by the stewardess, and she's like, "Excuse me, sir, you need to sit back down in your seat right now. The pilot put on the fasten seatbelt sign." I was like, "Holy shit!" So I sit back in my seat, and now these girls are cracking up because I'm the idiot that gets in trouble for getting up during the fasten seatbelt sign. And the seatbelt Gestapo back there kind of, put me in my place. So now the plane actually hits the tarmac. And at this point, we are in the worst pain we've ever felt in our entire lives. I mean, it's so bad. So again, now that the plane, it hit the ground, and he slowed down. He's no longer going that super fast speed once you actually hit the tarmac. And he's kind of making his approach to the gate. And again, I tell the girls, fuck this, I gotta go. Like, I can't wait now. We're already on the ground, fuck it. So I unlatch my seatbelt and I get up again. And I start heading towards the back of the plane again. And this time the stewardess is sitting in a chair, and she's strapped down too. And again, she tries to stop me. She's like, sir, please, you need to sit back down. We have to, until we get to the gate. And I was like, I don't care, I gotta use the bathroom. And I ran, and I made a beeline for that bathroom. It was the most, satisfying pee that I've ever had in my life. I've had some times where urinating has felt so spectacular because I've had to go so bad, but never has it been to this point. So now I finished peeing, and I'm thinking to myself, I think I just broke an airline rule in my crazy state. I think there might be an air marshal waiting for me outside the door to take me away to jail because they might think I'm a terrorist or something. So I open the door very slowly, and I kind of peek outside. And standing right outside the door are the 2 girls, and they're just kind of snickering and laughing. And right next to them is the stewardess, the airline Nazi. And she's just sitting there with this look of disgust on her face and shaking her head at me. And she's like, "You just couldn't wait, could you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. I actually could not wait. It was so bad." And so the girls are cracking up. They go to use the bathroom now that I'm done. And we all kind of get our bags and walk off the plane. And my buddy is standing in the terminal waiting for me to get off the plane. And he sees me come off with these two girls. And he's shaking his head at me too, like, you know, you're going to get us, you know, banned off of flights for life or something. You're an idiot. But at the same time, he's pretty happy because once I introduce him to these hot girls, you know, all is forgiven. He's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, we're going to show you guys around and, you know, hopefully get laid." So, moral of the story here, guys, if the captain tells you to go take a piss, and even if you don't feel like you have to, go anyway. Especially if you're drinking booze on a flight. Well, all right, boys and girls, that concludes story time today. I hope you enjoyed this ridiculous story of things that happened in my life. And I'll see you guys on the next video.